Hello and good morning. Welcome to the Steam Release Podcast. I'm your host, Dewey Bear, joined as always by the lovely, the violet, are you really pale today? Rhodey Pie.
Hello.
Although it looks like your eyebrows are on fire, you should get that checked. just burning right away. That's just your wrath at the injustice of the world.
It is. Oh, so much.
Burning in your eyes. Well, that aside, all pleasantries. It is now May. It is beautiful. The sun is shining. The birds are singing, and games are still being released, although at a bit of a slower pace lately. But before we get to that, I'm curious, what have you been playing this week?
Oh, right. So, I only played one thing this week. I'm still getting through Heartbeat, but I'm at the point of no return. So I'm just trying to do all the other bits that I may have missed. And the problem is, it's like, so you meet several different companions on your way to, throughout the different parts of the storyline, and they all have different abilities which can get you into certain areas. Mm-hmm. Now, sometimes you won't have the correct combo. So it did say that you can, at the end of the game, it lets you go back to it and do everything. However, it's like, yeah, but I want to get it now because I don't think it's going to be worth anything or worth this, that, and the other. So it's just really annoying, or I'm not going to remember where these bits are. So I'm just really annoyed. It's like, I can see this chest. It's just there, but I can't speak to that companion again to join me. But yeah, it's really annoying. But I'm doing trying to collect all these collectible cards, and I don't know if you remember that YouTube thing about Final Fantasy VII, where it says tell you about what Final Fantasy VII is in a nutshell, and at one point it's like, oh, you've got to go and save the world, and it's like you're just there gambling away. That is exactly what's happening right now in the game.
That's like in Final Fantasy 15, where it's like Princess Luna Freya is just like, you must save the world. It's like, okay, and now I'm gonna go fishing. gotta catch the best fish. You go off, do all these sorts of random stuff. Oh, gotta cook all the different types of foods. Oh, yeah, it's like, so you ever gonna save the world?
So I have defeated all the optional bosses, which is at first when I was doing them, it was just that you're not really getting that greater rewards or anything, but when you get the last one, it's you get a pretty nifty reward. But it does also give you pieces of a diary, and it's so it's giving you a bit of lore about the world, which is pretty nice. Mm-hmm. And I'm still having fun with it. And I can't wait. And there is fishing in it as well, so I've gotten all the fish I can get, apart from the fish that you can get in the last area, which I'll definitely complete that totally. I didn't play anything else, but as there's been a couple of sales on, there's been, we've got the recent festival that's on Golden Week sale, which is on right now, and there was also a narrative festival, and for that the Rusty Lake series was on sale, and one of their titles was going for free, so I got that, which was really nice. So Cubescape Collection, the White Door, Rusty Lake Paradise, Rusty Lake Roots, Rusty Lake Hotel.
Well, yeah, so you can still get it's still 56% off, so you can still get it for $9.17. It's 5 games.
Yeah, one of the titles worth free. So I was like, so I got in there very quickly and got it. I don't think it's free now though, but yeah, I was like, gotta get it. So yeah, that's not a bad week. What about yourself? What have you been playing?
Well, I've been playing. I'm at this point. So, like with you in Heartbeat, you're kind of at the late point of the game. I'm at this point with several games right now. So I didn't play anything new this week. I've just been I've been plugging away at Dojoran. I think I've played. I'm coming towards. I'm working on a. I've written a review for this already for my personal review, and then I'm gonna make a review for the Curator. Wow, I was like, oh no. Okay, having a senior moment. I'm sorry. So the Curator's page. So I'm working a review for that. Which I think I'm going to say roughly the same thing. I don't think I'm going to get this game done by May 13th. Not because it's a super long game, but it's really difficult. I make progress, but it's like I only make progress if I just step away for a while, cool down, dry my sweaty palms, and try again. It is fantastic. It's really fun. And it's also very challenging. I never feel like it's unfair when I die. It's like, okay, I know what I need to do. I need to land there, not there. I need to jump from there, not there, that kind of thing. Every time you die, you know that you did it wrong. It never feels unfair, which is how a precision platformer should feel. So yeah. This game is never about luck. It's only about luck if you're trying to speed run, because there's certain timings where if you're trying to speedrun this game, yeah, there's a lot of luck there, because otherwise you might have to pause and just wait, rather than just being able to run. But as far as just actual playing and not trying to speedrun, this is not a luck-based game. It's very much about skill. And I'm terrible at platformers, but this is a great example. I would put it up there with Celeste or Sonic or V as far as, kind of just really difficult but really fun platformers and just really great physics. So I'm quite excited of what Outlander's going to do next. I have, of course, been continuing on Temtem, which is a great game. Still great game. I'm about to get to the next island, Tukba. I'm almost finished with Omninesia. So no spoilers, but Tukba is the third island you go to. It's going to be apparently underground and stuff. So the plot line is very much Pokemon Red and Green. It's not super it's not going to win an Oscar. It's not an Oscar winning story. It's quite a simple story, but what they do really good is world building. This world, despite being very fantastical, almost feels believable because there's so many little details that they're quite consistent about. Like when they lay down that Denisians dress like this, or they're interested in this, and you'll run into the occasional exceptions. That's kind of an odd thing for a Denisian to be doing. Or why are you here? You're from Denise. You've traveled a long way, kind of thing. It's oh no, I was born here. My parents moved here a long time ago. I was that's interesting. There's always these little details about the world that really makes it feel quite fleshy and quite real. Very enjoyable. I am still getting closer and closer to finishing Felseal. But every time I get to another mission, it's another mission. It's no! I just want to finish because I've completed all the marks on the map, and now it's just I complete a mission and a new marker appears. It's I'm not done. That said, the story is really good.
Do you feel like it's overstayed its welcome now? Do you feel it should have been just a little bit shorter?
It's just that I keep expecting, as soon as I finish this battle, there's going to be a bunch of cutscenes, and it's going to kind of wrap it all up. But instead, they are kind of wrapping up story points inside of the battles instead of doing cutscenes, which I like, but it is a very long game. It is a very long game. And when you have a bunch of other games in your backlog that you want to play, I wouldn't say this has outstayed its welcome. I think it's more the case just me. I want to play some other games, but and this one's just quite long. So, I feel like a real idiot though, because I just realized how the class progression in this game works. Like, so in the class, I don't know if they have a screenshot here. In the class page, here, okay. You have the growth here. That tells you what ratio that their stats increase each time. So if you change to a certain class, you can really gimp your stats. So if you're an attack-based character and you switch to a class that doesn't mind, you just gimped your stats, and so you're going to have a really weak character. I only learned this now. And I'm like almost to the end. So now I'm like building some new characters real quick. Thankfully you can hire new characters at basically max level. So it's not too big of an issue, but I was just, this is how the game works. I didn't realize this for the past 75 hours. All right.
The fact that you've been able to get to the end and like not have all, have the classes figured out, I think that that's quite a testament to the game, really, how accessible it is. It
is quite accessible. Now granted, I'm not playing on super hard difficulty. Now that I know that this is the way the system works, now I understand how people can play it on veteran difficulty. Now I understand, because if they take this into account, you can definitely calculate out, like, this is the ultimate builds I can do. And for those people who really want to min-max and have a real challenge, that is in this game. That is not me. I just want to finish the story. But Felseal, great game as well. Besides that, just with my brother, we've gotten to patch 2 of the Shadowbringers, post-Shadowbringer story in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's fantastic. And yes, Felseal is very much inspired by Final Fantasy Tactics, heavily inspired. So is Fae Tactics, which is another game I need to play, but not until I finish Felseal. So, yeah, I think that's all I played. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yep. So, with that, we can go ahead and hop right in to the catch-up list. The catch-up list is going to be a bit longer this week because the release list was kind of short. So we are catching up from August 13th to August 17th.
We're getting close to finishing our catch-ups now, aren't we?
We are. It's just the October and I think a couple in November.
No, we did. We were live for that. I think we just need September.
Oh, okay. I'll have to... Yeah. Oh, that's right. It ends on October 8th. Like the whole... Yeah, so it's basically September and then just like the first week of October and then that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
We're getting close. So close.
We're getting close. We're getting really close. So, starting off, we're going to have the Librarian Special Edition.
Liz's library is threatened by the unknown. She must go investigate. She's the librarian, after all.
So if the pixel art looks at all familiar, this is done by Octavi Navarro. He is a developer out of Barcelona, Spain, and also did like The Supper, which is that really creepy, cannibalistic kind of story, the short story. But yeah, Octavi Navarro, he's got a game out, and this one he is selling for $3.99. Previously, he's made free games.
Yeah, it's £2.80. The previous games that he has brought out, a lot of people have picked them up. Like his, The Supper Anywhere, at least, is the free games that he's brought out. But any of his paid games, I think people have been reluctant to pick up, which is kind of annoying because it's just, these are so well done, and so the pixels are fantastic, but people don't want to fork out £2.89.
Yeah, it's not like he's asking $20.
Yeah.
No, he's not. So it's quite perplexing to me.
But when the Supper just did so well, had so many people pick that up and play it and
Mhm.
review it. So it's just like, oh, come on, guys, you should really support him.
Yeah, come on. He's got quite a few games, and they're all positively ranked. Like, his lowest ranked one is 87%, and that's Midnight Scenes. So, if your lowest is 87%, that's pretty good for a solo dev on Steam.
I played both the Midnight Scenes. I got the Midnight Scenes bundle, and yeah, they're really good. They're just like sort of like creepy, episodic, Twilight Zone kind of games. They're really great. I've yet to play the Supper. I was thinking of doing like a Halloween stream for it, but that's overwhelmingly positive at 98% positive with over 2,000 reviews. I'm definitely gonna pick up the Librarian at some point, and the next one he's currently working on is Bookless, which is a prologue. So he's working towards like I think a bigger game, which would be fantastic. I can't wait. Because the artistry is just amazing.
Oh yeah, book lice, interesting. Oh, okay. So I'm quite curious. Oh, and this is the same character as in. Yeah, Liz the Librarian. That's the same character as in the Librarian.
Nice.
Oh, so I wonder how many of these games are actually kind of connected story-wise. I am curious.
Yeah.
All right, that is cool. So, but yeah, The Librarian by Octavio Navarro of Barcelona, Spain. Check it out. It's $3.99. If you're not sure about his stuff, he has free games available to check out.
Yeah.
So, next up is For the People.
For the People is a mix of political management sim and a visual novel, putting players in the shoes of an idealistic young state official tasked with shaping the future of a communist factory town. Will the party provide for the people, or are the people just cogs in its machine?
Mm-hmm. This is developed by Brezig Studio, which is a small studio based out of St. Petersburg, Russia. And yeah, they're gonna like set, this is sort of a period piece set during the Soviet Union.
I quite like this. It's like choose your own adventure. There was like another game similar to this that I played, and it was you're running a newspaper. You're the editor of the newspaper, and you deciding on what gets printed decides on like how the people react and what's going to happen. So if you say, oh, the immigrants are terrible, blah 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 blah, there'd be like riots against like certain people that come into the state, sort of thing. And if you try to like walk the line and make everything kind of like just not so hate-filled and just facts and everything like that, you're going to end up being fired. So it's or something else bad happens. So it's like really difficult to just like walk the line. I feel like that can be the case with this. It looks like it's set up the same with the telephones and everything.
Yeah, so it's got like, I think 70% positive reviews. I'm looking. Let me see. 79.
79, yeah, altogether with 384 user reviews. But the recent ones are 75%.
Yep.
With 12.
So it seems mostly positive. I was kind of looking, I was noticing like most of these reviews are not in English. So I was just like, wow, this has really been played by quite an international audience, but it is available in a ton of languages. And, but yeah, I see both negative and positive Russian reviews. Very neat how widely played it's been. But it looks like it kind of maxes out between 4 and 10 hours as far as the review times. But yeah, that's For the People. They're very interesting.
It's £13.49.
Yeah, $16.99 US. It is published by 101 XP, which they're kind of a bit of a bigger indie game publisher that's based out of Russia. So they actually have some MMOs like Icarus Online and actually there's Lost Ark. They published Lost Ark as two, I believe, which is a MMO I've been desperately waiting to come to the West, but is still stuck in Russia. So I'm really hoping that one gets localized eventually. All right. So our next game is Teenage Blob.
Half game, half album, all awesome. A colourful art punk adventure towards the best night of your life, guaranteed to cheer you up in half an hour or your money back.
Okay. Teenage Blob. Oh, interesting. They've got some references to some other old games as well. Oh, that's 6 different games inside it. Yeah. Interesting.
It's like, mini games like Paperboy. It's one of them. It's, I find these, I think we've spoken about, like, there was a platformer that was a concept for someone's album. A game for concept for someone's album, basically, and this is sort of the same thing, which I quite like. Those two mediums coming together. It's like you're advertising for your music and you're doing it through video games.
Oh, I do also like the sort of anthology things that folks do. Sometimes it's hit and miss, or like some of the games are good and other the games are bad, but it's like getting multiple games for the price of one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's not it. You know, I think it's quite interesting art. The animation looks pretty well done, and it's only £5.79. So it's not like it's going to break the bank, and you get 6 games for that, which is quite nice.
Oh.
And it's there's 55 users, and it's at 100% positive.
Yeah, and it is this is by Team Laserbeam and the Super Weeks. They are a Team Laserbeam. The developers are based out of Cape Town, South Africa, and the Super Weeks, which I think that's the band. They're based out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But yeah, so and yeah, it's $7.99 USD. Next up, The Ambassador: Fractured Timelines.
Freeze time, outsmart your enemies, and reverse the annihilation of your home in The Ambassador. Fractured Timelines, a twin-stick fantasy shooter.
I feel like I've seen this game around for a really long time. I'm pretty sure this was coming soon for quite a while, because I've seen people talk about this before. But it is by Tiny Dino Games, which for some reason I thought they'd done something else, but I must be mistaken. So it sounded familiar.
Maybe I'm thinking of Tiny Build Games.
Oh, Tiny Build, maybe. Tiny Build, and then this Purple Dino. It's probably mixing those two up. Another senior moment. So this is a top-down action RPG, which I feel like there's like nothing like super wrong with it, but also there's nothing. I'm like, I don't actually. There's some things that I don't like about it either. You know what I mean? It's just like it doesn't. It's something that it doesn't work for me for some reason. Yeah, I'm personally not a fan of the aesthetic. I do like the mechanics. Like they've got this time freezing mechanic, and then you've got this interesting. You've got multiple characters that play different ways. So it's got feature-wise, I think that's quite cool. And mechanics and such, and suddenly live action. What? So there's neat mechanics. I like some of the boss design and such. I'm just not a fan of the character designs or the environments.
Yeah, I think it's the environments are the issue. Is it just looks very muddy. Like, yeah.
Let me see. So it is fast-paced, 20 hidden journals, the history of the realm. There's 5 unique environments, 2 timelines, and 55 levels. So that's quite a few levels, actually. And you have anything from, there's quite a few pause reviews, and then you have some people who are like, it's basically shovelware, which is probably an unfair claim, but we do have some more explained negative reviews.
Is weird, because it's like, it says it's 100% positive with 16 reviews.
Yeah.
And like, when I scroll down, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 negative reviews. That's so weird.
Yeah, I think it's probably closer. And it's saying that there's 140 reviews down here.
Yeah.
What is going on, Steam? You're drunk, Steam. Go home. Because this is probably closer to 60% positive. How very interesting. But
she says it looks like a game that has been done 10 times already, but done worse. My feelings exactly. She definitely. It's like, if you are going to latch onto a genre that has a lot of these kind of games, really like work on, at least give it some people you trust their opinion and say, is this working? Is this, be brutally honest with me, so then you can like go back to the drawing board, tweak it, make it work a lot better.
Yeah, and there's just aesthetically, there's a lot of games, like there's certain games you look at, like say Dogeron, that it's like, okay, it looks like maybe 1 or 2 other games, but it still has a pretty unique look. Whereas this one, there's quite a few games that look very similar to this on Steam. Well, quite a few. There's a huge list, and if someone showed me a screenshot from this game, I wouldn't necessarily know what game it was. Yeah. So, but yeah, that is Ambassador Fractured Timelines. It is by Tiny Dino Games, and they are based out of Chicago, Illinois. And this game is $14.99.
Yeah, the price point as well is not so great either. It's like $11.39, and it's like, yeah, you should have priced it maybe $7.99 or something like that. That would have been, I think, would have been fairer, I think.
Yep. Next up is Boomerang Foo.
Come on. There we go. Slice and dice your friends with boomerangs in this frantic physics party game. Join a crew of your favorite foods as you grill, chill, and spill your enemies. Discover ridiculous power-ups and stack them together in deadly combinations.
Here's an interesting example of... So last week we had a game called Boomerang, which was a 2D pixel art, really weird aesthetic. That was quite similar to this, albeit this is 3D graphics and has a much greater variety of game modes and environments from what I'm seeing. So I wouldn't really call these clones, but they do kind of have this sort of both two teams of developers both thinking of the same idea. It's like, hey, let's have a brawl game with boomerangs.
Yeah, the one that you spoke about, it had like a weird color theory.
Really weird like color theory, yeah.
Pink and like sort of like a bright blue. And it was, to me, I didn't like the way it looked. I didn't like the way it looked at all. And this is more pleasing to my eyes anyway. And to a lot more other people as well. So there's like 331 user reviews altogether. And it's standing out very positive with 95%. So yeah. And in the last 30 days, 14 people have given a review. And it's standing at 100% positive.
Yeah. This has been in early access for a while, but it's also only local multiplayer. I don't know if they have any plans to make an online multiplayer update, but yeah, it does have local multiplayer. It's still regularly getting patches, like they did some balance fixes, some performance fixes, etc. So this is something I would be interested in eventually picking up, and because it's 4-player local, like eventually we'll start to have friends at our houses more often. And this is going to be another one of those games that I would like to play. So, and it's just really, really cute.
Yes, it is. I do like the sort of the character designs. There's like an eggplant, avocado, banana, milk, watermelon, donut, coffee, ice cream, bread, bacon, carrots, and sushi. So yeah, nice.
It's very cute, yeah. And yeah, the developer is Cranky Watermelon. This is their first game on Steam, and they've done quite a good job of it, I have to say. It's real cute. Okay, whoops. Next up is and this is $14.99. Yeah, $14.99.
Did I say the price? Ooh. It's $11.39.
$11.39. Right. Our next game is One Way: The Elevator.
One Way: The Elevator is a creative point-and-click game developed by Cotton Game. You need to find a blue sphere in each scene to power an elevator to travel upward.
Mm-hmm. So this elevator only goes up, and it has this sort of neat storybook point-and-click aesthetic going.
I really like it. I just love the way it looks, and it's the characters are wild. That kind of imagination, they're these human people, and then you go and see these sort of like fantastical creatures and everything, and it's all sort of contained within by going up in an elevator. It's and you're going on all these different floors. It looks great. But it seems like more kind of like one of those fetch quest kind of point and clicks where it says, I need these items. And it's like, okay, I'm going to find the items for you then. Here are the 3 items that you need before you get the power sphere that you need. But yeah, it looks great. And I'm seeing anything from like 3 to 7 hours. Mm-hmm. Which is pretty good because it's only £2.89.
Yeah, $3.99 USD. And yeah, it's by Cotton Game. They've developed quite a few games. They made Isoland 3, Mr. Pumpkin Adventure, Mr. Pumpkin Adventure 2. Okay, I know who these guys are. Yeah, they're based out of Hong Kong.
Yeah, we spoke about Mr. Pumpkin because it's the Mr. Pumpkin 2 was Kowloon Walled City, so it was like very much looking at like parts of Hong Kong and sort of getting a taster of like what Hong Kong's about and everything. It was, and it had this similar style of design like this does. Like, it's really. I love the art. I love his art.
Yeah, he's got a really established. Each game looks a little different, but there's all this kind of soul that continues through each of them. So you can pretty easily recognize when it's a Cotton Game. Yep, Cotton Game production. But yeah, that is all we have for Catchup. From August 13th through August 17th. Next week we will be covering August 18th onward. So next up is, of course, our releases, the hidden gems of this week, which besides Friday were pretty sparse. Friday had quite a few games come out, but so we have quite a few games to talk about, starting with Atlas Architect.
A creative game where your imagination is your limit.
So this is one of those sort of sandbox games. Let me see. There we go. So
it's like you select the sort of landscape you want to plop down, and then you just click and see what happens, I guess. But there's a similar game I think we spoke about, was it last week or the week before? It's these buildings that you put up and you just click and then you can make them go higher.
I don't know if this is it, but this is Townscaper, which is still in early access.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I've been waiting for this one to come out for quite a long time because it's quite a cool concept, and you can be really creative. It's crazy what you can do with this.
So yeah, I feel like this is like of a similar concept, except it's more different, just like different map landscape sort of thing instead of like buildings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's all hex based, but you can use different size hex to give you a really varied look to things, and it uses some procedural generation. So if you put down a hex, it's not going to be a perfect hex shape. It's going to have like indents or something to make it look more real. Very, very interesting. Very interesting sort of just sandbox experience where you can just plug away and make islands that you wanna imagine.
And there was a recent update as well. So there was that was the release. I guess it's been in early access itself. A few people have said they wanted like more different kind of building textures, though, to make it a bit more individualized, so people can play with that a bit more. So hopefully, you know, this person's still working on it, and they can add a lot more things to it. But it looks nice, and it looks very relaxing as well.
That it does. I think it's got a little bit less customization than Townscaper. Ironically enough, because Townscaper is very much you're just making towns, so it is kind of limited in that scope. But there's so much variance in, like, you can color the buildings, you can change the window design. There's all these little details that you can change in Townscape. But granted, that one's a micro scale, and this one's more of a macro scale. So maybe that's an unfair comparison.
But yeah, it looks very nice. It's standing at 95% positive overall with 66 user reviews. But recently it has 14 user reviews and it's standing at 85%. So, and it's £10.29. That's unfortunate. We see that a lot with once it's come out of early access. Sometimes the reviews kind of are less positive.
Yeah, and of course they bump up the price sometimes. So
it's true. Yep. It's true.
It is designed by Daniel Rashidi, solo dev, and yeah, it's their first release. So next up, we didn't have any releases this week for Tuesday, but on Wednesday, April 28th, we have Clan O'Connell and the Crown of the Stag. Ooh.
Battle the demonic hordes of Karanok with blade, bow, and fist to save your father in this artistic action platformer experience. Quickly swap your heroes on the fly to overcome the mysterious and horrifying wilds of Hibernia. Will you bring peace to this ancient land and save your family?
Yeah. So this has a very Samurai Jack, or like the new sort of Raymond Legends design. It's got a design that's very reminiscent of that. Very 2D, very colorful and bright. Very, very flowy animation, but kind of like paper doll sort of thing. It's quite pretty. It looks quite action-packed. The character is a little small on the screen, so it might be hard for you to tell what's going on. But if you're playing this on a big screen with controller, it would probably be perfect for that.
Yeah, I like the art direction and everything, but as you said, like, the character's a bit small, so I think I'm not a fan of that. But I like the backgrounds. It's so, some of them are so beautiful. Like the forests and everything. Yeah. And then some of them like are super creepy. This is really good. Really fantastic details. It is £11.39 and it is standing at 100% positive 14 user reviews.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just seeing. Let's see. Discover the nearly unknown world of Celtic Celtic mythology and folklore, and you explore fantastical worlds. Swap heroes on the fly to overcome challenges, cross chasms, and defeat a host of perilous enemies. Tons of levels from the mortal world to the Fey world, and all of the fantastical environments in between. Puzzles that test the limits of your wits and sibling cooperation. A unique handcrafted art style inspired by manuscript illustration and Bronze Age Celtic design, combined with modern graphic styles of the recent past and present. Compelling tale of family, honor, and sacrifice, told through hand-drawn animation cutscenes, and all-original soundtrack of Celtic-inspired music by Moonwalk Audio.
I do wonder how much in the way of RPG mechanics on this game, considering I'm noticing there's damage numbers when you attack. That sort of implies there's a way to like build your stats. So I am curious about that. I bet there's some RPG mechanics to this. That is interesting. I do like RPG mechanics. It's kind of odd to have in an action platformer though.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is developed by HitGrab, which is a studio out of Toronto, Ontario, and it has quite the aesthetic going for it, I have to say. But yeah, that is, and it's $14.99 USD. Yeah. All right. So next up, from Thursday, April 29th, we have Battle Axe.
Battle Axe is an arcade top-down hack and slash featuring high-quality visuals created by veteran pixel artist Henrik Neyborg. True to form, game mechanics and music from the legendary VGM composer Manami Matsume. Retro gamers rejoice. I'm sorry if I haven't pronounced your name right. It's Henk. I think it's Henk. Sorry, Henk.
Yeah, Henk Neyborg. Yeah. And I love... Oh no, my phone is ringing. Stop it.
No.
Stop it.
Okay.
I don't know anyone in Arkansas. But I really love the aesthetic. This is very pretty. It's quite reminiscent of some of the best older pixel art games. And it's not this like 16-bit, older 16-bit pixel art games. It's very pretty. I really like the aesthetic, I have to say.
Yeah, it's all bit retro. But like smartened up a bit. Yeah, it's quite nice. It looks, I like the details that they put in, the extra details.
Mm-hmm. The sort of facial expressions that they all have, and the interesting, and you get to play 3 different characters. Oh, it's so pretty. I do quite like this. I think I might add it to my wish list. It's an ARPG. I am down for that. It
includes health potions, power-ups, and devastating magical scrolls. There's chicken. Even the hardiest of warriors need to eat. Devouring this fine roast chicken will immediately restore 1 bar of your health. I just had to let you guys know that. There is chicken in the game. Confirmed. Single player or local co-op, arcane, infinite, and new game plus modes. Superlative pixel art by games industry veteran Henk Neyborg. Heroic soundtrack by the legendary VGM composer Manami Matsume. An epic adventure of pixel art fanatics with beautiful designed characters and environments in every frame. There's quite a few. I was just scrolling down. There's quite a few negative reviews. It's standing at 70%, with 10 user reviews. I'm wondering what the negative reviews is. The camera is extremely close to the characters, and therefore you can't see what's coming. Almost every enemy attack takes us by surprise. Field of view is tremendously limited, which causes many deaths. 2 big characters and enemies, so possible reactions to anything in the game is limited. One way the enemy spawn is rather ridiculous and once again obscures what is happening on the screen. Like one of the characters, they shoot cannonballs and it's shot at a weird angle. Environmental elements such as trees obscure the vision dramatically. While playing on a controller, you can ridiculously spam shooting attack, which used cleverly can easily beat the first boss, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they've put in like a multitude of back things.
Indeed, and a lot of it. So some of the visuals, like this, that is pretty close in, especially if enemies are going to be attacking from a distance. So if this is your character here, that is not a lot of visuals. But unless not knowing what the fighting mechanics are like, that might be fine. But yeah, if they're saying that causes difficulty, that might be a problem. I wonder if there's any way to sort of move the vision back or not, but probably not. I'm also seeing complaints about... So it's an arcade game. Why isn't there a continue feature where if you die, it seems that you have a certain number of lives, and if you die, you can't continue? So, if it's an arcade game, normally there'd be a way like, put in a quarter to continue, but this doesn't let you. So it's like, no, I'm not going to lose all that progress kind of thing.
That's annoying.
Yeah. There's also 4 stages, apparently, so it may not be particularly long, and it's $25.49 USD.
Yeah, I'm seeing, like, most 8 hours. So, yeah, there's seeing like between 5 and 8 hours. Oh. So it's 15% off right now at $21.24, which I think is quite a lot, considering, as you said, there's 5 stages, although we don't know how many kind of, like...
How much content per stage is, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's developed by Bitmap Bureau, which is based out of Southampton, England. Yeah, it's very beautiful, and I'm still very curious to check it out, because maybe the close-in camera won't bother me, but we shall see. So when I eventually get around to it. Anyway, Friday, April 3rd, we have Frauki's Adventure.
Frauki's Adventure is a challenging melee combat platformer set in a large, interconnected world. Dodge, slash, stomp, and outplay a variety of intelligent and deadly alien robots. Discover shortcuts and find hidden upgrades. Challenging sword fights and sprawling, bizarre world awaits.
I like the different attacks they have available. It seems that you've got like directional attacks and jumping attacks, and there's a variety based on where you're pointing and what button you're clicking. That seems pretty cool. Looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it kind of looks a bit crunchy to me. The backgrounds, particularly, I don't think they're done particularly well.
Yeah, and there's not very many in-between frames in the animation. It's pretty... Yeah. There's not a whole lot of in-between frames. It still looks fine. But yeah, the backgrounds are kind of crunchy. And then the UI for the text is bright green, which I don't know about that choice. But this is developed by a solo dev, Casey Clyde. So as of solo dev work, it looks very good. And it's $4.99 USD.
It's $3.99 UK. So yeah, it's one of those things. I always feel like be honest with yourself. Mm-hmm. What are you good at? Are you good at doing backgrounds, or are you good at doing like the character designs and everything and animation? And like, just be honest about that. There's not many user reviews, at least not in the thing that they're. But all the ones that are in the reviews are positive. Something positive, and it's about 3 to 4 hours long. It seems. Mm-hmm.
Which $4.99 USD, that's a pretty fair price for content. But yeah, so that is Frauki's Adventure. You can buy the OST. Oh no, the OST is free. So if you want the free OST, you can get it. That's interesting. Normally the OST is...
Yeah. It's just if you want to support the developer further. Okay.
Yeah. Or if you just like the music, I guess. I wonder if we can... Let me see. I don't think you can listen to it here, but interesting. Yeah, they've just got all the different background noises. How interesting. Okay. Next up. Oh, and the developer for the OST is Matthew Underwood, apparently. So the composer, Matthew Underwood. All right. Next up is Switchcars.
Escape alien beasts across varying environments and eras in more than 1,300 unique vehicles. Add your own vehicles and props, props with the included editor.
Oh.
Interesting.
So there's an editor. This looks really high-paced. Yeah, this looks like it can get extremely fast. How interesting.
I was expecting the cars to be bigger, though.
Yeah, it is pretty small.
They are tiny. They are tiny, and it's like I was hoping for something, the cars being a little bit bigger or something to really appreciate all the different kind of cars there are. Oh well, or I should say vehicles, all the different vehicles, because you have got planes and helicopters and things like that. So that's kind of cool.
Yep, helicopters, planes, trains. And it seems like when your character gets blasted out of one, they can make another one appear, or they can jump into another one. How very interesting. I feel like I've been saying that a lot. Interesting.
We have found a lot of cool concepts, I think, this week. There's been quite a few. So yeah, this is another interesting concept.
Yeah, you can't say that there hasn't been a lot of creativity in the releases this week. They've all been very different. Some of them are going back to like types of games that haven't been done in a really long time, and that is a really cool thing about Steam. It lets old genres live again. So I'm quite glad about that. And this looks really fun, actually. Yeah,
it's again, it's another one of those that I'm not so fond of the backgrounds. It's just, it's a bit dull and grey, considering like what the banner looks like, which is super colourful and everything, and then you look at it and it isn't as colourful.
Yeah, it's and of course it's kind of just a repeating thing.
Yeah,
the background. Yep.
Sorry,
go ahead.
It is standing at 92% positive with 119 user reviews, though. So
the gameplay must be holding up.
Yeah.
The developer is Alt Future, which is a developer out of Belgrade, Serbia. They've also made Derail Valley, which is in early access right now. It is a train simulator, I guess. You get to drive trains. I know some people who would be really into this, actually. So yeah, by the same dev. So they do both pixel art and 3D stuff. Very neat.
It's 10% off right now at £5.39.
Yep, that's $8.09 USD. Our next game is Kakatte Koyo.
Kakatte Koyo is a cute 2D platform fighter where you play as cats, use fish with special powers to fight, and achieve victory. Challenge your friends in 1v1, 2v2, and free-for-all combat, or hone your skills in the single-player time trials.
So this is our second sort of couch co-op, multiplayer game to this week, and it's very cute. They're definitely going for your heartstrings with like, oh, here's cute cats that you get to fight with. It's like, yeah, you know how to get money out of people, don't you?
I have a friend that could possibly be watching right now who might be interested in this game because of the cats.
Yeah. So you basically you pick up the fish, and it gives your character a particular upgrade that you can fight with. That's really interesting. A really interesting idea, I have to say. I'm saying interesting again, but that's very imaginative and clever. Yeah, and there's also time travel. So if you're playing this by yourself, there's these sort of platformer maps where you can pick up different powers and try to beat them as quickly as possible. Yeah, that's a cool kind of feature for if you don't have any friends who can play in person. There is a solo mode as well.
Yeah, this stand at 91% positive with 12 user reviews. It is 10% off right now at £3.59. It's just that's so imaginative, and I do like there is a single player mode, and you can test and hone your skills in single player training mode where you compete against the clock to earn the golden koi. So yeah, it's nice, and this has been in early access for a while. I'm interested to see now that it's been fully released, like how people take to this more though. If like the user reviews are going to go down a bit.
Yeah, it is only $4.49 USD, of course, which isn't a bad amount. I do not like the text font that they used in the game. It bothers me. It doesn't feel like it matches the pixel art at all. And again, the backgrounds are a bit plain, but the action is all in the foreground. So yeah, and of course not just the background, but also the foreground platforms and such. They're just very blocky and just kind of boring. If it wasn't for the cats, it would be quite boring looking.
It's a shame. It's not more kind of cutesy cat backgrounds and stuff. It's a shame.
Mm-hmm. It's developed by BackSlash Games, which is based out of Chicago, Illinois. Our next title is The Lost... Nope. I copy-pasted the wrong title. Oh, wait. The Lost Legends of Redwall. Nope. Okay. Steam just wasn't supposed to be slow on me now.
Oh, dear. A whimsical... puzzle adventure game set in the world of the best-selling Redwall books. In this second episode, fresh off your defeat of the murderous scum snout, you wake to hear the sounds of battle, and you must make your way into the fray to find your lost and injured beloved.
All right, Lost Legends of Redwall. Bingo. Found it. All right, so The Lost Legends of Redwall, the Scout Act 3. So it is a game, the Scout Act 1. It's still on my wish list. It released extremely buggy. It was the first 3D game by this developer, Soma Games, which is a small studio based out of Newberg, Oregon. And the first game released really poorly with mixed reviews, tons of bugs, but I'm happy to say, per the reviews in this, per the review for this one, and there's only been one review so far, and for the reviews of the previous game, that there have been a great deal of patches to fix a lot of the mechanics, because the previous game just was very buggy and it was difficult to actually complete, and that is no longer the case anymore. So I was quite happy to see that. So I'm much more interested in jumping in on this title.
You can join the Lost Legends of Redwall, the Scout Act 2 for the playtest. So you can there's a button here that you can request access to. So I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that before. Interesting.
I wonder if that was there before it launched and they just forgot to remove it now that it has launched. I am curious about that. But yeah, they were doing kind of playtesting, and that's probably why this game has ended up with fewer bugs. I hope that means they'll still be able to sell copies, though. Because if everyone who wanted to play it has already has already played it, that might be an issue.
Well, I suppose the way you could work around it is if so many X amount of people signed up, but they were only playtesting certain sections, and each person got a different section.
So true. That would be a way to do it. Yeah. I quite like the aesthetic. Normally, 3D cartoony games it's really easy just to make them look wacky and strange. This one just kind of does it just the right amount of realism and cartoony. They just kind of hit that nice spot. a nice sweet spot. Actually, the world sort of has almost a World of Warcraft aesthetic going for it, kind of that level of cartoony. But then the characters kind of have very much their own style. I quite like it. I quite like the aesthetic. Something else about this game I was reading up about. They have a scent mechanic. So when you walk places, you leave behind your scent. And likewise, other characters leave behind their scent. And so if you come across the scent of like someone and it's been recent enough, and it also calculates for the wind, like the direction of airflow and such. So there is stealth elements in this game. It's not entirely a stealth game. It is more of an RPG such, but there are stealth elements. And so when you're walking places, you have to be mindful of when another character is going to walk where you walked, because they're going to smell you. And I was like, yeah. I just thought it's just such an interesting idea, though. I was like, what? That's so cool. That's sort of an added layer, because they're all animals, so of course they're going to have an enhanced sense of smell. So, yeah, it's quite cool. So I'm really looking forward to playing the next. And I have to say, the lighting effects look a lot better in this game. Although a lot of the fixes they've put in this game have also been put into the first game as well. So
I hope that more and more people do pick this up, especially if they played the first game. And mousies are always cute.
Yeah.
Mousies, so cute. But yeah, I'm curious as to how people found this game compared to the first act. And how many acts are there supposed to be?
I don't know. I know that each one is roughly 4 hours, though. So with it being like $9.99, it is only about 4 hours. So for each one. But I don't know how many acts. I'd have to go check their website. I'm sure they have it somewhere. But yeah, I don't know how many acts there are going to be. However, I do have a hint. In the Redwall books, there are typically always 3 acts. So my guess is there might only be 3 acts. So,
So one to follow if you're definitely interested, and it's £7.19, and just keep an eye on the user reviews to see what people have said and if there's any improvements that need to be made.
Yeah. Also, I do appreciate that. So this game is still, I don't know if the tags are 100% correct, but the tags are still family friendly, so I am kind of glad with the video game edition of Redwall, which Redwall is pretty bloody in the books, but it's never like, it's still a book that kids can read, and I do appreciate that they are trying to make sure the game is still kind of geared towards children, because that was the original. They're not going for more edgy stuff, so I do appreciate that. Keeping it for the same audience as the books. All right. Next up, Skjoldur. Skjoldur story? I'm sorry.
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
In this light-hearted pastoral adventure, explore a vast and whimsical world, confronting dangers in whichever order you choose, using nothing but a magical shield. Yep.
First of all, that is a lot of pastel. Pastel is a unique approach as far as dedicating to art-wise. Generally, I prefer pastels being used infrequently, just because they can end up kind of blending into each other. But it is odd that they went with the whole pastel route for this.
I think it depends on what game.
Yeah.
What kind of genre it is. Because if it was like something very casual, something like very sort of relaxing, I wouldn't mind so much like all pastels. But because this is like sort of like a puzzle-y action adventure, I don't think it quite fits so much.
Yeah, you need a bit more defining lines between stuff when you're playing more of an action game, so you can easily tell where you're going, or games that involve more movement. It's just better to go for more vivid or more stark color differences than pastels. That said, it is still quite nice looking. I'm just not a fan of all the pastel. Snoozing Pixel. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I think it's cute, and I do like that it's, you've got this shield, and that's kind of like your main weapon. Although I've seen like them use Boomerang as well and some other stuff, but that's your main sort of weapon, is just like a shield. And you can pick up different kinds of shields as well to do different kinds of things.
There's also stuff like secret rooms, and you block enemy projectiles. Yeah, your only weapon's a shield. Interesting.
Yeah, I've seen like people say cutesy, if perhaps a bit basic Zelda-esque, like a logogrammatic approach to storytelling and tutorializing that simplify it, but the lack of diagonal movement outside of riding the goat and some other small jank with controls mars it a fair bit.
No diagonal movement. That's really old school.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is developed by Snoozing Pixel Games, who are based out of Illinois, USA, and it looks like it's about 7 hours long, and it costs $12.74 USD.
It's 15% off right now at £9.68. Yeah, and there's currently only 3 user reviews, so yeah, not got a full.
Our
picture.
Penultimate game is the nice word, AA. Penultimate. Crossbow Crusade.
You'll have to survive among hundreds of monsters thanks to your weapons and accuracy. The monsters have completely lost their fear. They have made a real mayhem, I guess, hunting down living people and destroying them. It's time to stop this and put everything back in its place. They've made a real mayhem.
They've made a real mayhem. Yeah.
A real mayhem.
Real mayhem. The developer is Huge Pixel. We've seen games by them before. They are based out of Kazakhstan. They created Rusty Gun, Bone Marrow, More Dark, Lord of the Click, Chop is Dish, Dead Dust, Glittering Sword. I think we specifically talked about Bone Marrow, actually, which was kind of a board game.
Chop is Dish. These names.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There is some real odd naming conventions, but they are from Kazakhstan, so maybe English is probably their second language.
It's true, and it's made a real mayhem.
Made a real mayhem. I'm gonna use that from now on. It's like, you made a real mayhem. People are gonna look at me like I'm crazy. It is like all Huge Pixel games. It is priced very affordably at $239. Well, that's 40% off. Normally it's $399 USD.
Yeah, it says it's grim and gritty setting, comfortable controls for anyone into run and gun games, challenging gameplay with rewards for exploration. And the developer describes the content like this: blood, meat, death. And yeah,
it's pretty edgy looking, I'll have to say. Yeah. So like the platforming here, where you basically shoot arrows to make to jump off of. You shoot arrows into hanging bodies in order to jump off. It's like, wow, that's edgy, man.
And it's so it's 40% off right now at £1.73, and it's standing at 100% positive with 11 user reviews.
Yeah,
feels amazing, man.
Yeah. And so now our final game of the week. Do you like visual novels? Well, you better, because this is Mamiya.
Mamiya is a captivating, dark visual novel in which a group of young men struggle against existential dread before the end of the world.
Yep. This is developed by Kenko Land. But have they done anything else? I feel like I recognize this art style. No, they have not. So there is a demo for this game, though, if you want to play it free.
I find it interesting. There's this not, even though the characters are men, it isn't like a dating thing or a yaoi kind of thing, because that's usually the case with visual novels. No, that's a bad thing at all. It's just it's like a different story in the genre. There's an apocalyptic fantasy visual novel, 6 different endings, 83 gorgeous full screen illustrations.
And of course, though, there is some animated scenes in it. It's mostly 2D. It's mostly just 2D, just typical visual novel, no animation. And it's, the tags are psychological horror, story rich. I'm not seeing anything. This might be one of those non-romantic.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. That's what I was saying. There's no.
I'm not seeing anything about romance in any of the tags or any of the any description. It seems it's more just about they all. For some reason, these particular, because it seems society's functioning, so I'm wondering if it's just these 4 guys particularly know that the world is ending. I do wonder. Like that's an interesting, interesting idea.
I'm quite curious of this. The artwork's quite nice. It looks, it's quite dark. But I do wonder how long it is, because it's seeing varying amounts of gameplay. Someone pre-release review has clocked in nearly 50 hours, someone else 36, and then someone else just 12 hours. So I'm curious as to how long this actually is.
Yeah, I'm seeing 48 hours, 23 hours. This does not seem to be a very short visual novel. And the reviews are also definitely reinforcing this is not a romantic visual novel. This is a story visual novel. How interesting. And there's 6 endings, so that's quite a bit of replay value. I am curious, with having 6 endings, how does their skipping functionality work? Can you go back to the branch specifically and play the next branch? I love it when visual novels do that and they make it real easy for you. So, because I hate it when you have to go back and they're like, okay, click. Yeah. Oh no, I misclicked, I gotta do it again. Yeah, that's the worst. So please, if you make a visual novel, make it user friendly in that way. But yeah, Mamiya, that's cool.
10% off right now at £13.94.
Yep. Yeah, $17.99 USD, and it looks like it's probably long enough to warrant that price. But it's only gotten well more than 4 reviews. It's gotten looks like 18. It's just Steam hasn't updated yet. So, but yeah, 18 reviews. I didn't see any negative reviews. It might be 100% positive right now.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's cool. Alrighty, so that is Mamiya, and with that is the end of our release list this week. It was kind of short, but we made it, and you are the very best. What is the very best this week?
Right, I'm gonna probably pick. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna pick 2 from each. Or maybe 2 from the first list, maybe 2 from the second. We'll see. This is going to be a journey of what is the very, very best. So, I definitely going to pick up the Librarian at some point. That was in the catch-up list, because it's just, I'd love point and click. I've loved their previous games that they've done. It's a shame that not all of their games are on Steam, because their other games that they've done are on itch.io. But they're just really beautiful point-and-click games, and they're quite cheap as well. So yeah, the Librarian Special Edition.
And they always end up leaving you with well, that was weird, and you kind of think about it.
yeah, completely. And the other game that I probably pick up eventually is One Way: The Elevator by Cotton Game. So yeah, that's those 2 games. I pick up that one because again, it's got that kind of point and click vibe to it, and again, I just like the look of it. I like the developer, and I really should like try all that developers' games. They are on my wish list, but I haven't picked up any of their games yet. So yeah, but you've not shown any of the games.
Oh no, I had the wrong tab up. That's right. Darn it. There we go. I was like navigating to them. I was like, oh no, crap. Yeah. So yeah, there was One Way the Elevator, and of course.
One Way the Elevator, and then the Librarian.
Yeah, and the Librarian.
By 2 from the catch-up list, and then let's see. So the the release list, the main release list. I think the 2 that I would maybe pick up are Atlas Architect, which I like the concept, and I feel like it would be like very relaxing game to play. But I don't know if I would get bored of it quite quickly because of the lack of customization.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's one I'm going to keep an eye on to see if there's any more updates happening with it.
Mm-hmm.
And the second game, maybe Mamiya?
Mamiya, yeah?
Mamiya, yeah, Mamiya.
Yep.
Because I interesting concept, and you know, there's not really romance on it. It's really just focusing on the story. I think any stories that like don't have a romance in it, like a full narrative that doesn't have a romance in it, I'm always going to be interested in, because I don't feel like to make your story interesting there needs to be romance in it.
And yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like really say that I'm particularly a fan of visual novels, is that generally I just don't find the story that interesting, and it's more about like whatever sort of like like bodice ripper, like kind of like oh wow, like either it's like super geared towards girls, like teenage girls, or it's heavily geared to like whatever sort of fetish is involved in it, rather than an actual good story. But the thing is, the visual novels I have found that have been like really heavily story based and were really well written, it's quite a cool way to deliver a story. So I just do wish there were more kind of visual novels that, I don't know if they even have to lack romance, but just like have a real plot. Have a real storyline that's like really engrossing. And then I would probably be more willing to openly say like, yeah, I'm a visual novel fan. These are the visual novels that I recommend, kind of thing. So
I played quite a few visual novels, but it's like it's finding like a decent one.
It's so hard. You can't trust people's recommendations.
I know. I have like, let's see, I have 86 visual novels in my collection so far, and like, you know, found a few good ones. I definitely want to like play through Dry Drowning, because that's like
that one looks really good, actually.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I really like that, and of course, like Avery Attorney, that's kind of like a visual novel, but that's really good as well.
Yeah, and Ace Attorney too is technically a visual novel and is quite good.
Yeah, exactly. So ones like that, I'm interested. I want to play, and A Case of Distrust as well. So yeah, I've got loads. I have loads, and I've got some really great ones. But the problem is, I do need to play them sort of like on stream, because I'm dyslexic, and there's like always a chance that, oh my god, I want to play something else now instead of getting right all the way through to the end of the game, which is, you know, always a shame.
Yeah,
because it's like they are so good.
Well, let me see. For my games of the week this week, I've got one from the Catchup, and it's pretty easy pick from the Catchup for me. Would be Boomerang Foo. Especially with having my brother moving in soon, it's just going to be another game that I really want to play. If only Steam would work now. But yeah, the Boomerang Foo, I'm always down to find more games that I can play with my brother. Because, on the rare occasions we'll both have time off, we'll want to do at least some couch co-op stuff. But yeah, Boomerang Foo looks great. And from the releases, it's probably pretty obvious, but the Lost Legends of Redwall Scout Act 2. I really need to play the Scout Act 1 as well. But yeah, the Scout Act 2 looks great. I love the aesthetic. I still can't read the last Redwall book because the author died. So it's like, yeah, he passed away, and it really affected me because like that these books I've been reading since I was a little kid. So, and I've been reading them into college, and then, he passed away, and I have not been able to read his last 2 books because I know that once I read those, there's never going to be any more. And knowing that there are developers who are making respectful renditions, and like there's also been some like now there's possibly a movie in development and TV series in development that's really trying to be very faithful to the spirit of what he wrote. I'm really glad like no one's gone and just kind of like messed up like my precious like there's always the books and those will always be great no matter what people do. But yeah, I'm just really glad that there's been real fans of the books that are making such interesting games. So, yep. So that is the Scout Redwall Act 2. And those are my 2 picks this week. Yeah. Of course, chat, let us know what your favorite picks of the week were, of course. And before we say goodbye, Rhodey, let us know like what you're up to this week, where people can find you, and yeah.
Oh, wow. I really wanted to get the FMV detective game that I was playing finished this month, but I've not been streaming. But you usually just find me here. But if not, do follow me on twitch.tv/RhodeyPie, and I will stream eventually. And don't forget to follow us on our creator page, and the link's just here. And we do have like lists of games that we have talked about on the podcast, including mousy protagonists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've got to flesh out some more lists. I did a bit of that a little while ago, but I got to do some more. So, but yeah, gotta flesh out some of the lists and make it easier for you to find games that you might be interested in. And as for me, you can always find me at twitch.tv/DeweyBear every week on Sundays at 2 p.m. Central Daylight Time or Central Standard Time once we get back to Standard Time. I hate daylight savings so much. Please stop. But yeah, you can find me here. And of course, on Twitter, you can find us at Podcast Steam. And on YouTube, look for the Steam Release Podcast. And we will have all these episodes uploaded there for your viewing pleasure. And of course, to YouTube, thank you very much for you viewing today. And please like and subscribe. And comment down below. Let us know what you thought of the games this week. And if we missed any, scold us viciously. So I can, make sure to include those in next week's episode. So, with that, Auf Wiedersehen. Goodbye.
Bye. Bye.